Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. I have to say, your leftists either are extremely arrogant or they are completely disconnected and detached from reality. Now, in the 2022 election cycle, we have your Democrats looking to run two candidates that have failed in the past. Your Beto O'Rourke is trying to run for governor in Texas, and your Stacey Abrams, who failed to win the governorship in Georgia, is running once more. Now, the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. And I believe it is absolutely insane that the left is trying to run these two candidates who have already proven that they have failed in the past and have no new ideas or no new vision to promote any sort of agenda. Now, what exacerbates the whole situation as related to Beto O'Rourke and your Stacey Abrams is the fact that your left has Joe Biden with a low approval rating, and the fact that your Joe Biden is practically underwater does not sit well for many leftist candidates, especially two who have already failed in the past. So you have a president whose whole agenda is falling completely apart all across the country. His approval rating is at an all-time low. Gas prices are at an all-time high. Inflation is all throughout the country. And what they're doing is running these two popular stars in the party, but not popular with the people. And that, again, shows how completely disconnected many of these leftists are and how many of these leftists are living in their own world. They only see themselves as their barometer for standards, and they're not looking outside objectively at the constituents that they serve. And that was shown to us in Virginia with your Glenn Youngkin, I think, or whatever his name is, and how, no, it was the other guy. Youngkin, I think, was the Republican, but the Democrat candidate, and all of these guys came out, your Barack Obamas, your Stacey Abrams, and your Joe Bidens came out to go out here and endorse this candidate, and this candidate wound up getting destroyed in Virginia. And instead of taking a critical examination of the way the left wound up losing in Virginia, what happened with the left is they're continuing to go on with this course with failed candidates that look like they are guaranteed to fail once more, basically based on their platforms. Now, your Beto O'Rourke, he comes out of the gate really weak because he's basically a beta male, and he comes across with weak body language and a weak, almost effeminate presence. And in the state of Texas, where men are masculine and strong, that's not something that gives people an incentive to go out here and vote for a candidate. Now, what's even worse for your Beto O'Rourke is that he has no real vision, and he basically comes across like an NPC puppet, basically who wants to go out here and say whatever his leftist masters want him to go out here and say. And he toes the party line talking about gun control and talking about taking away the guns of Texans. And in a state where people have an open carry permit as law of the land, that's not going to get you many people supporting you when it comes down to election day. And when you start talking about taking away a Texan's guns, that's when a Texan decides to go and continue to vote for your Greg Abbott, because your Greg Abbott has shown that he does support your gun control, one, and two, he also supports the liberty of American citizens, because your Texas has remained open as this so-called pandemic has continued to go on, and Texas's economy has continued to thrive and grow, and we have continued to go on and have a stronger economy than many blue states, such as New York. And that is another advantage that your Greg Abbott has coming out of the gate, protecting the liberties of your Texas citizens, and that is something people are not guaranteed to receive under a Beto O'Rourke who wants to toe the party line of leftists and start talking about things like jab mandates and then talking about trying to impose his unilateral policies without that of a legislative branch. Now, you can pull those triangle games in leftist strongholds like New York, but in places like Texas, they value the Constitution and they insist that the Constitution be followed. And you're not allowed to make mandates in a place like Texas because they want to have laws in place, and those laws are about protecting the liberties of American citizens, and that is why your Beto O'Rourke is probably going to lose very badly because all your Greg Abbott has to do is start talking about how this whole beta male is only out to follow the lead of a Joe Biden and tell them how he's going to destroy their economy the way Joe Biden is devastating the economy right now with his policies and his empty symbolic gestures like his Build Back Broke agenda. And that's all they need to take him down. And your Stacey Abrams is easily beatable because your Stacey Abrams, outside of her big mouth, really has no leadership. Your Stacey Abrams is just basically one big virtue signal, and all she is a black woman, a flash, but nothing of substance. Because your Stacey Abrams, while she was a good talker, her policies are detrimental to citizens of Georgia. Now, when you look at your Stacey Abrams, yes, she comes across as poised, polished, and educated, but she does not really think critically about the needs of your Georgia citizens because she acted emotionally when she petitioned to get the All-Star game canceled from Georgia, and what that did was cost the city of Atlanta over $1 billion, and it cost many black-owned businesses a payday. But the only people who see Stacey Abrams as a darling are those leftists, but your Stacey Abrams is not a darling to many of those business owners who are looking to make a profit from the All-Star game. No, your Stacey Abrams was only feeling about the policies that Brian Kemp established as related to voting rights, and the great irony is because she acted on her feelings, she acted in the detriment of your Georgia citizens who wound up losing at the end of the day when the All-Star game was taken to Colorado, a state which has similar voting laws to your Georgia right now. But the only difference between your Georgia and your Colorado was your Colorado was run by a leftist, so your Stacey Abrams is okay with voting rights laws as long as a leftist is running the state. And again, that is very backwards because she's putting politics over people, and it shows that she is going to be an extremely weak and ineffective leader, and an ineffective leader is not something the state of Georgia needs, nor do they need a leader looking to get empty symbolism by saying that she is the first black female governor of Georgia, because a leader is not defined by their racial or gender identity. No, a leader is defined by their actions and their decisions, and we judge them on the merits of those actions, and we judge them on the merits of those decisions. And based on the merits of the actions and decisions that your Beto O'Rourke and your Stacey Abrams make, they are not good leaders for the states that they want to run for governor in. They clearly show that they do not have a vision for where they want to take their states, and they clearly show that they don't have a direction for where they want the state to go. So they are not effective leaders. If anything, they are just basically puppets who basically want to toe the party line of the left, a party line that is running detrimental to the economy and detrimental to the country. I mean, if you look at the country under Joe Biden's leadership, it has practically has no direction, no focus, and he has absolutely no vision because he just does not know where he wants to go. Even though he talks about building back better, his whole agenda has no real concrete goals and has no real focus or direction of where he wants to set goals and what goals he wants to meet. And that is the big problem with the left right now, is that it is a completely jumbled mess. And it's a jumbled mess because everybody is still caught up in their feelings about 2016 and the loss Hillary Clinton took to Donald Trump. And because they're so caught up in their feelings about that loss, they're trying to overcompensate by saying that they're not Donald Trump. But I am not Donald Trump is not an argument, and I am not Donald Trump is not a way to set a vision for an agenda or to set a direction for a country. I can say that I am Sean James and I am not Donald Trump, and I could go out here and run as a Democratic candidate for president or governor or mayor, because that is the argument many of these politicians on the left are making. And that is not a strong argument because we see from the almost a year of Biden's presidency that I am not Donald Trump is not helping the country move forward. And many of the policies that are put in place as a result of I am not Donald Trump are really hindering America, stalling the economy, and voting for more leftist candidates is not going to help America grow or help America change, because these people are so caught up in their emotions about the 2016 election still that they want to go out here and run the same candidates on the same platform, not understanding the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. Because only an insane person is going to go out here and run two candidates who have already failed and then expect said candidates to hope to win, especially when your leader's approval rating is underwater. And many Americans are frustrated about the lack of direction. Many Americans are frustrated about the lack of leadership. And from rumored reports, there's nothing but chaos from the Biden White House. So most people are getting really tired of these leftists who seem to have tunnel vision as related to jabs, but not really focusing on American jobs and moving the country forward. And that is the big problem with the left, is like the beta male, they only want to hold on to one issue and try to hold the country in neutral instead of looking to move the country forward so that it can continue to grow, like your Texas and your Florida and many of your red states, which have all growing and thriving economies. And that is what most people are looking at right now. And again, I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I am an American citizen. And I can tell when it's time to move on. And most Americans right now, we are at a point where we want to move on, but we can't move on because we have a group of codependent people in leadership who just want to try to keep the country in a position because they don't want to take accountability for their failures, and because they don't want to take accountability for their failures and the fact that their cities are filled with crime, their states already have numerous budget deficits. These individuals don't want to take any sort of accountability for their failures. So what they want to do is continue to make everything about jabs and mandates that are unenforceable, because a mayor or a governor cannot unilaterally make law without the legislative branch, and that is unconstitutional in and of itself and unenforceable because there is not enough manpower to enforce said policies. So most people are getting tired of these leftists, and they're getting tired of their weak and ineffective leadership. Many of these people, like Joe Biden, said they had a plan for the pandemic, but we're seeing that there's no plan at all and no direction. And if you have to run failures to get success, then there's a serious problem, because it shows that there is a disconnect with the left and we the people. And if you are disconnected from we the people, you cannot hear we the people. You cannot hear what the people want. And how can you give people what they want if you can't hear them? Your leftists, as I see it, are stuck in a bubble, and after getting that Pyrrhic victory over Donald Trump, they really cannot see how they're losing, and how they're losing badly, because running on feelings is not going to get you success. No, a leader gets success because they have a vision for where they want to go. A leader gets success because they can set out goals and set a series of benchmarks to measure those goals. And a leader gets to those goals because they are willing to take accountability as they measure their benchmarks and see where they are at and then adjust. Unfortunately, what we have from the left is no real benchmarks as related to percentage, as related to number of people who need to get jabs to move the country forward, and all we get is feelings about jabs and no real direction of where we want to go. And that's why the country is dealing with inflation, gas prices, and a detached president and a detached blue states governors who are just sitting there as their states deteriorate into crime-ridden cesspools, while they just sit there and believe that things are going well. But the truth is they are in denial. And you will have to be in denial to think that running a candidate like this, like a Beto O'Rourke or a Stacey Abrams, is going to move you forward, because these candidates already proved that all the left is all about empty symbolism, empty promises, and electing them would just be electing more empty suits who would do absolutely nothing, like their predecessor, Barack Obama. Now, if you want to, now this video was requested by a viewer and paid for with a Cash App donation. And if you want to request a video, you can donate to the Cash App. And if I know something about that subject, I will make it for you. And this video is not going to be monetized. So if you want to see me make more videos like this, again, you can donate to the Cash App and I will make those kind of videos for you. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS: Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS: Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other 2 books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online booksellers everywhere today.